Hello again, everyone. This is Greg Swanson with WarriorMindCoach.com, and welcome back to Creating Mental Strength, How to Master Your Thoughts and Emotions No Matter What. Today is Creating Mental Strength Part 2. And again, this is going to be an overview of Part 2. When we get to the end, there'll be a place to download the file itself, which has a little bit more information in it. When I talk about one of the key things here is what you see is what you get. We've heard that before, but what does it really mean? You see, you are a law unto yourself, and what you believe is both the lens that you see the world through and the attracting force of all of your experiences. And when I say the lens, I really want you to think about what would the world look like with a yellow lens? What would it look like if you looked through it with a blue lens? What would it look like if you looked through it through a green lens? And then what if you wore a blue lens and somebody was wearing a green lens and you got into a discussion of what the world looked like? You'd both be correct in your own beliefs, but you wouldn't understand what the other one's saying because you don't have the same beliefs. And just as the blue lens lets in certain events, attracts to you these certain events, it's the same thing with your beliefs. You see, you have to really, I want you to understand that your beliefs and thoughts are not just merely perceptions and attitudes, they're actual physical vibrations within you, as real as the floor you're on, the clothes you wear, the car that you drive. Remember, we went back in lesson 1 that said everything is energy, and your thoughts are energy. And remember, that's one of the 11 facts of the mind is thoughts are real forces. And when you can comprehend that and start to contemplate it, you'll really see how your thoughts, which actually percolate up from a belief, is a real force. Now, the thing here is if you don't believe it, then your lack of belief is going to manifest in the world itself. So you're just going to see evidence of that belief. So actually, even if you don't believe it, the law still works because you're going to see evidence that proves that it doesn't work. So actually, it is working. So how we see the world, each of us really presumes that we see the events and circumstances of our life as they really are, that we're objective. We can look at something and discern it and go, this is what's happened, this is what happened. But it's not the case. We are seeing it through our conditioned mind. Again, think about wearing yellow glasses or blue glasses or wearing something else. We see our events and then we see them through the lens. And really what's important to understand is that all events are neutral. It's what our beliefs and our values are projected onto them, make them. And so they are personal. It may be a universal event, a universal happening, but it's personal because of how we project our thoughts and beliefs and feelings into it. And again, every single event is neutral. Every single problem or obstacle is that, when we encounter that in our life, is caused by within. First, on how we label it. Again, if we have an event and we call it a problem, we have just created a problem. Your lens is both distorting and creating your reality. So imagine wearing yellow lenses, taking them off and putting blue lenses on. All of a sudden, your reality actually changes. You put on lenses that make you see the world upside down, and it turns upside down. Your reality changes. These physical lenses I'm talking about are no different than your beliefs that you look through life with. And when you understand that you are looking through a filter, and that filter is neither right or wrong. We talked about this in part 1. It's only, is it supportive of where you want to go with life? Because if it doesn't support you, if you have beliefs, let's just say that you still have a belief that the economy is bad, how does that support you in running a business? How does that support you in making money? How does that empower you to go out there and become prosperous? So with that belief of the economy is bad, you're going to watch the news and you're going to see all the news reports that tell you how bad the economy is. Well, here's a flash for you. The news is the news because it's not the norm. If things The news doesn't report things when they're normal. So they're not going to tell you about all the people that are employed. They're going to tell you about the ones that are unemployed. They're not going to tell you about the housing market, all the houses that are being sold. They're going to tell you what the housing market is down. Yeah, it may be down, but there are houses still being sold. So if you believe that there is bad economic times, you will see all the evidence to support that. So here's what happens. Our events of our life, whatever they are always being interpreted by our mind's lens, our mind's eye. All available data coming in is shifted and weighed and brought to our attention or dismissed. So this is all held, I'm going to get a little technical here, but this is all held in your reticular activating system. And your reticular activating system acts as a filtration device. What's important, what's not important, what to let in, what not to let in. I'm sure, or I should presume, that many of us have either been at a busy airport or a train station or someplace where there's a lot of crowd noise. And we hear our first name and we perk up. We go, oh, who's talking about me? Or who wants me? With all of that noise, we didn't hear any other words, but we did hear our first name. How did we do that? It was our reticular activating system that said, the belief is that when your name is mentioned, it's important to pay attention. And that's true to some level, but I'm trying to help you understand that that's an automatic filtering system. We didn't have to consciously listen for our name. It just automatically filtered through. And that happens to us on a daily basis, in and out of all of our activities. Our reticular activating system, based on our beliefs, is going to let in the information that it thinks is important according to that belief. But here's something also. Any information that runs contrary or counter to that belief, you will not see, you will not hear. It's been a proven fact. It's like a negative hallucination. You will not see it. There have been people who feel that there are no jobs out there, and they go look through the want ads, and all they find is hourly wages. They don't see the other jobs. They don't see the jobs on the job boards. They don't see that. Where other people say, man, there's a lot of jobs out there, and they find them. So it's not only that it lets in important information, but it also pushes out other information. And when I say important based on what your beliefs are. So once you can become aware that your daily experiences are influenced by your inner programs, now it's up to you. It's up to you. It's imperative. It's critical. It's essential for you to examine your beliefs. And as you examine those limiting beliefs and start to question them and start to work through them, your view of the world will change. And you need to understand the lenses. You need to understand those beliefs of what they are and how do they affect you. And so you need to deal with each of these beliefs directly. There's a saying within neurolinguistic programming and some other places that whatever the thinker thinks, the prover proves. So you have inside of you a thinker and you have inside of you a prover. And so if the thinker thinks a thought about something, the prover is then set on its way to prove that that thought is true. And so this is why it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you keep thinking something, the prover goes out and finds it. So in order to stop that circle, you have to deal with each belief directly. And there's no lasting change except through the change of your beliefs. They have to be examined carefully, not as to whether it's true or not, or our truth will always match the lens that we're wearing. When we speak about our truth is how we interpret the events. It may not be fact. And so be aware that when we speak our truth or when somebody is speaking truth, they are speaking through the filters and the lenses as they are seeing it. It doesn't mean that it's fact. And so when you are saying this is true, it absolutely is true through your beliefs, but is it fact? And unfortunately, many limiting beliefs have been accepted by us and have taken root in our subconscious, and our subconscious controls 95% of our activities. And they have been put in there through teachers, parents, all well-meaning people, but there are these phrases that we have come along, like money is the root of all evil, little boy shouldn't cry, little girl should be seen and not heard. All these type of things get embedded in our subconscious time and time again, and then we start to live them and go, well, that's what we were told. So how do we examine these beliefs? Well, part of a way to come up with some beliefs is think of a goal that you want and then ask yourself, why don't I have it yet? And you're going to give yourself a bunch of excuses, a bunch of reasons. But those reasons are the tip of the iceberg for limiting beliefs. And so if you can get the mental strength to start to question them, then what you can do is say, does every single person have this belief? Because if every single one doesn't, it's just yours. Does this conform to every lens that you have? Is this true for everything that you see life through? Are there people who don't have this belief, and what are their experiences? These are just some of the ways where you can be aware of your thoughts and question them in order to examine your beliefs. And the simple act of examining and question your beliefs will start to loosen the hold that they have on you. So that's it. We come to an end to part 2. Please remember to download Creating Mental Strength Part 2 below. 2 below. It kind of sounds like a town in Alabama. Anyway, download that below and keep your eyes out for another part 3 in a couple of days. And until then, live strong.